Hey, I'm Leanne Vogel. You're listening to the Keto Diet Podcast. I've created a free guide with tips on how to start keto and maintain your fat-fueled life. Grab it at healthfulpursuit.com/free as a little thank you for listening to the show. Okay, so we're back here for another solo episode. It's episode 387, 384. We were talking about my personal health journey, recovering from an eating disorder. We kind of left off with having been recovered in 2017, and I really wanted to spend today's episode in this series talking about finding keto, what that was like, writing the books, doing the things, all the stuff to do with all that, because I'm often asked, like, what was that like and how'd that go and what was going on with your health at that time. So in late 2016, I was approached to do a book. Originally, I thought it was the dumbest idea. I did not want to do it. Silly girl. It sounded like a lot of work and I didn't want to do it. I'm so glad that I changed my mind. It was probably one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do. So I signed all the things and agreed to have the book ready in a year. And after about 3 weeks, the publisher reached out to me and said, could you have it ready in 4 months? And I'm like, 4 months? Are you kidding me? From a year? No way. And he said, but you'll be the first big keto book out. And I was like, okay, let's do it. We can even be bold and call it the Keto Diet. Unfortunately, there are a bunch of people that were also bold and named it the Keto Diet even after my book was out. So I wrote that book in a very short period of time. I didn't sleep a lot. We were doing a home renovation at the same time, and looking back now, understanding mold and all the things, I remember the day that I started feeling pretty unwell. And it was when I was writing the book. I couldn't get through the day. My brain was so foggy. I was so tired. I thought it was because of book writing, but looking back, it was totally mold. A couple days into our renovation, we were living in the home while we were renovating, and the contractor came to me and said, hey, like, we took out the shower, it's looking really good, come check out the layout. Oh yeah, PS, we saw some mold in the side, so we cut this piece out and it's all good, and we're just gonna put the shower here, it'll be great, blah blah blah. Like, Leanne, seriously, if a contractor ever says that, then you need to hire a mold professional to come in and figure out what's next, because that's 100% why I started feeling absolutely terrible. And I thought it was the book. Like, I thought it was just, well, I'm sure a large portion of it was the book situation, because I was working, crazy hours to get it finished. Like, I was doing 10 plus recipes a day, taking all the pictures, writing the recipes, sending them off to the publisher, doing the research. I mean, I didn't sleep. I did not sleep. Well, I did, because I was feeling so terrible. So I would go to our dining room, which is where our bed was, because the whole upstairs was a total mess with the renovation. And I would sleep for 10 minutes and then go back to my work. And I was so fuzzy brained. I literally don't know how the book ended up finished, and so incredible. I am so proud of that book. If you don't already have a copy of The Keto Diet by me, Leanne Vogel, just go find one. They're in tons of libraries now, and I'm sure you can find them at discount bookstores at this point. It's been a little while, 2017. Oh my goodness, time flies. That's crazy. And so yeah, we launched the book April 17th, got out of the house. I started feeling much better. On tour, we were on tour for probably a month and a bit. And around this time, my husband and I decided to move into an RV full time. And at first we were going to rent out our house, and then we decided to sell it. And at first we decided to put all of our stuff in storage. Then we just decided, you know what, let's just sell it all and see how this goes. Like, all in, baby. Yeah. So, we sold all the things, moved into the RV, kept going on tour all that summer. And this was so freeing to me. I think shifting up the way I was working helped, and getting out of a moldy house helped a whole bunch. And yeah, just being on the road and exploring. that year, October 13th, 2017, that was the last time I had a strong urge to binge and purge. And after that, I just didn't, and I haven't since. I think there are a lot of things at play with that. We kind of covered some of that in the last episode, which was episode 384.
A while back, we received a question on the podcast about keto bars and how easy it is to eat 2, 3, or 4 bars in one sitting. Now, I've thought a lot about this, for quite a while, and I too struggled with it to the point where I couldn't have keto bars in the house because I would eat far too many in place of preparing a proper balanced keto meal. There's some days where a take along with you bar is convenient and at times absolutely necessary. So I started looking for an alternative, something more balanced, and a bar that would deliver nutrients, not just a balance of macros, where my body would be satiated by one and not in search of more and more and more. I think one time I had 6 keto bars in one sitting and I didn't feel so good after. And then I found that very bar. So here are the ingredients in the new bar that I'm now eating, only one of at each sitting. Organic cashew butter, organic tapioca fiber syrup, 100% grass-fed bone broth protein, organic dried apples, organic dates, organic pumpkin seeds, organic superfood blend, which includes organic kale, organic broccoli, organic spinach, organic acerola, organic wild blueberry, organic spirulina, organic ginger, organic turmeric, organic sunflower lecithin, organic cinnamon, organic flavors, Himalayan pink sea salt, organic rosemary extract, and monk fruit extract. Now, this is made with certified organic, if you didn't catch that, organic, antioxidant-rich superfoods, cold pressed, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, non-GMO, contains healthy proteins, fats, and vital nutrients, no added sugars, artificial sweeteners, or sugar alcohols. It's very low in natural sugars at 4 grams or less, depending on the flavor, and it's whole food based. Now, this bar is from Paleo Valley. They call it the superfood bar, and I'm happy to report I eat one and I'm satiated and I move on. No more bar binges. Now, this is huge, 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 huge for me. Head on over to paleovalley.com, load up your cart with superfood bars and whatever else you find that tickles your fancy. Enter the code KETO at checkout and receive 15% off your first order. Again, that's paleovalley.com and use the code KETO for 15% off your first order.
And so, we started traveling and exploring and spending a ton of time outside. And I felt really good during this time. Fast forward to December 2017. Wow, my memory is on point. We were in Vegas. That's where our publisher was. We were actually out for lunch with one of the people working at the publishing house. And he got a call. "Are you with Leanne?" And he's like, yeah, I'm right here. And they said, Kelly and Ryan want to have Leanne on their show, on their morning show, Kelly and Ryan show. When I was a kid, it was Regis and Kathy Lee. And this was such a dream. I remember being a little girl thinking I want to be on that show. That would be so cool. And here they were calling me, wanting to be on the show. And I was so excited. We finished up with lunch. We went for a hike with our dog. We were so pumped. And I don't know if it was that night or the night following. In any case, we had figured out all the details. We were spending a lot of time outside and things and just enjoying Vegas, getting ready to go to the show in New York. I was so pumped. And 2 nights before, I woke up around 11:30 and had this convulsing, I've been told it wasn't a seizure. I still to this day don't know what it was. This convulsion situation. I remember the whole left side of my body tensing up, every muscle getting so tense and then not letting go. So I fell because I could not stand. I fell and Kevin woke up. I was unresponsive. He called 911 and we're in our RV in a trail, in a RV park, and the ambulance showed up and I did not understand what was going on. I had no clue what had happened. I remembered feeling this way, but I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Why are these people here? I was totally out of it. So I went to the hospital. They gave me a muscle relaxant. It didn't help. They ran tests. It showed that I was fine, and they released me after I paid a lot of money. So I got back, and my neck, oh man, my neck was like pinned to what, like the left side of my ear was on my shoulder. It was so bad, and I could not move it. Like it wouldn't go back. I couldn't get it out of that position. So I couldn't go on TV. And this was probably the point where my mental, spiritual health took a complete nosedive. That experience was so hard on me mentally, because up until this point, I'd kind of like pushed my body, and my body did whatever. And I'd been so hard on it, drugs, alcohol, eating disorders, just like whatever I wanted. And my body was like, nope, no, we are not doing this. And like, I probably should have taken that as like a, hey, maybe, I don't know, take a break. But instead I was like, okay, well, since that's not working out, I think I'm going to make a new digital program. And so after launching the Keto Beginning, which was my first digital product on keto, then Fat Fueled, I spent probably 6 months with my dear friend, Dr. Nina Lewis-Larson, coming up with Happy Keto Body, which ended up being the largest program I've ever personally launched, managed, everything. It was insane. Awesome. And it still exists today. It's a 12-week keto program. I'm so incredibly proud of it. That thing is fire. But I just should have really taken that time off, but I'm psycho, and I love what I do. I love helping people. I love teaching. And so since the book stuff kind of whittled down after that because of the media stuff, and just my body and my neck still wasn't performing well, I couldn't do a lot of that stuff. So after Happy Keto Body launched, I was still dealing with neck pain. I was still in remission of an eating disorder. I was still eating a ketogenic diet. Things were going really well with my carb up strategies. I was walking a lot. I wasn't able to really work out since the neck problem. And I was told by doctors that everything was fine and I just needed to go to chiropractic. It didn't help. I went for massages. That didn't help at all. Like made it worse. It just didn't help at all. I kind of just like gave up. You know, when you just deal with so many issues, or like a certain issue, and everyone says you're fine, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm fine. Or like you just don't deal with it. Like, it's not even like I started thinking, oh, I guess I'm fine. I just stopped dealing with it. And that's like the worst choice. And a very dear friend, a couple of days after the neck situation happened, was like, do you think maybe you got bit by a tick? And I was like, no. Wouldn't I have found the tick? It's actually being stung by a tick. P.S. It's not actually a tick bite. It's a tick sting. Anyways, we'll not get too technical here. I probably should have listened to that friend. They were smart. They knew what they were talking about. But I ignored it. Of course, because we do, right? There are those smart people we have in our lives, and they're like, blah, 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 do this. And we're like, nah, I don't think I will. And then years later, we're like, yeah, I should have done that. But you live and you learn. And so, yeah, after Happy Keto Body launched, the publisher asked if I wanted to make another book. And I was like, yeah, that was awesome. So instead of doing one book, I was like, why not do two? Do you see a theme here? So I wrote the Keto Diet Cookbook, which I love. I had a different idea for the name, and I wish I would have gone with that idea, because the Keto Diet and the Keto Diet Cookbook made no sense because both of them were a cookbook, and it caused so much confusion. And I also did Keto for Women. So the intention behind the series was the Keto Diet was like the basics, how to do. The Keto Diet Cookbook was really about keto meal planning and how to prepare your meals for yourself and your family. And then Keto for Women was how to adjust the ketogenic diet for your body as a woman. So those released, I don't even remember, 2018, I think. Yeah, something like this. And it was great. I went on tour again, but like I said, ever since that Kelly and Ryan situation, I think my mental, spiritual health kind of deteriorated and I started just not being normal anymore. I think I could have really used a break and I didn't take the break. And I started sharing a lot of like new agey stuff. And by new agey, I mean like meditation and yoga and crystals and spirituality. And it was just like completely inauthentic. I've had so many people reach out to me over the last 2 years saying like, Leanne, I don't know what happened. You are a totally different person than you were during those dark times. And I couldn't agree with you more. I am so thankful that Jesus saved me. I don't know how else to say it. Like one moment I was one way, the next moment I was the other way. And in between was Jesus. So that was pretty incredible just to experience that and for my life to be completely transformed through that. And that really takes us to the next phase of my health. September 13th, there's a lot of 13s in here. September 13th, 2020 was when I was on a new age call and I was learning from my guru about, what was it even about? Wow. Tapping into your God self. That's what it was. And this is like a thing I had heard before many times, tap into your God self. I mean, I taught on it. I was doing like new age classes. I'd completely ditched all the health stuff. I was like, man, boring, so silly. Never should have done that. And I just went down this dark hole of mental health issues. And instead of asking for help, instead of listening to the people that were closest to me, I was like, you're not going to tell me what to do. So, you know, if you have that, that quality of like, as soon as I've set my mind to it, I'll do it. It's really great quality. I get a lot of stuff done, but I also do a lot of things that are detrimental to myself. And so it's a double-edged sword, you know, and I think too oftentimes we look at other people and how they quote unquote have it all together, but we forget that with every blessing that we think is a blessing is something that might not be considered a blessing to that person. And that's definitely my kryptonite, is pushing myself too hard and committing to things to my own detriment.
My mind likes to start racing around 9 p.m., not always, like maybe 1 to 2 times per week, just enough to make me feel a little bit crummy the following day. My trick, okay, listen to this, grab a piece of paper. It's kind of random, but it totally works. 2 milligrams of melatonin, a heavy metal binder, CBD oil, and Organifi Gold. It's the cocktail that does the job every single time. If you have questions about the whole melatonin binder CBD combo, hit me up on Instagram at Leanne Vogel. Today, let me explain the whole Organifi Gold part of the combination and why this was a missing piece for so long. Organifi Gold is a superfood tea that contains powerful superfoods that help me calm in the evenings and sleep through the night. It doesn't create grogginess like other options and promotes recovery and repair while I catch disease. There's turmeric for inflammation, ginger to calm down digestion, reishi for grounding, lemon balm to calm down the body. Just add it to water and it helps me get in the mood for sleep. Whereas other options get you to sleep, this starts to calm you down and get you ready for sleep. Go to Organifi.com/KDP for 20% off your entire order. That's ORGANIFI.com/KDP and use the code KDP at checkout to receive 20% off your entire order. Again, the coupon code is KDP. See you there.
So, yeah, that time between writing the Keto Diet Cookbook, Keto for Women, going on tour. I'm sorry if you went to any of those tours. It was generally not about the ketogenic diet. I could have cared less about that stuff at that point. I really wanted to share about like crystals and meditation, and people were showing up to the book tours expecting me to talk about the ketogenic diet and got something completely different. I apologize if you came on tour and you didn't get what you expected. I oh gosh, if I could do it all over again, I would have done a lot of different things, but I can't. And I'm just so incredibly thankful that after September 13th, 2020, when I realized that I needed a solution and that solution could not come from myself and that I was not God and couldn't figure it out myself. And I instantly had this feeling of, I need to know who Jesus is. I need to know what truth is. And that set me on this trajectory to really trust in God and put my burdens on him. Because he says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And he is not kidding about that, my friend. I will tell you. And so that really started the next phase in my healing journey. Shortly after that, I discovered that I had a pathogenic parasite. It required me to stop eating a ketogenic diet personally, though I love me some keto and I still kind of like play around with it when I can. Like, for example, today and yesterday, I was primarily keto. I've been able to get away with it a lot more recently. My adrenals are looking pretty awesome. Still have some stuff to work out that we'll cover in future episodes in this series, but overall, I think I'll be able to start eating keto again here pretty soon. And that's really, really exciting. We'll get into all the details probably next episode, like why I went off keto and why it was time, what was happening with my health at that point. But what I really wanted to cover in this episode was talking about my process through keto and just wow, from beginning in 2014 to like restricting all my carbohydrates, keeping it at 20 grams a day, to realizing that didn't work for me, to finding out that carb ups worked a lot better, not only for overall function, but just like mental health of just not feeling so restricted, to then kind of opening up the floodgates and being able to just eat what I wanted when I wanted, which happened to be a ketogenic diet for years and years and years. And it just became so effortless, and writing books and making programs and meeting people. It was so cool. I'm in such a different season of life right now. It's just incredible to think back that book, The Keto Diet, launched in 2017. And that was 5 years ago. That's crazy. It feels like yesterday, but also 20 years. And so yeah, that's my personal health journey. Up until that point, I'm looking forward to sharing more about why I went off keto. Then we're going to talk about like root causes, that neck issue that I had and what that ended up being. It's a good story. So I'll see you back here for another episode of the Keto Diet Podcast. And I'm planning to do another episode in this series, probably around episode 390 in the mid-October. And if you haven't already listened to episode 384, I'm talking about recovering from an eating disorder in that one. So I will see you back here next Tuesday for another episode. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Keto Diet Podcast. Join us again in a couple of days to discover more Keto for Women secrets for your fat-fueled life. Music for the Keto Diet Podcast provided by Yechi. Follow Jacob on Instagram at Yechi_official and on Spotify as Yechi. That's YECHI. The Keto Diet Podcast, including show notes and links, provides information in respect to healthy living, recipes, nutrition, and diet, and is intended for informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor is it to be construed as such. We cannot guarantee that the information provided on the Keto Diet Podcast reflects the most up-to-date medical research. Information is provided without any representations or warranties of any kind. Please consult a qualified physician for medical advice and always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health and nutrition program.